You're in a war and you don't even know it. You're not battling the labels. You're not battling other producers. You're in a war battling yourself. It's your overthinking, the perfectionism. It's the stuff that you're avoiding. It's the things that make us scared. And all of that mental stuff, it bleeds into the music. It bleeds into the branding. It affects our potential on the journey to succeed with our music. I'm going to break down this internal battle and explain how to overcome the war. And I'm not just going to give you my opinions. I'm going to give you the studies, the research, and the science that backs it up. If you don't know, I'm Justin. I run Cosmic Academy. We're an artist development program. We've been around now for over 13 years, and we've worked with over 1,000 incredible artists. And these artists, they deal with the exact battles that we're going to talk about today. We've seen firsthand the techniques that we're going to discuss in use. And when used correctly, they get the results. Our students signed to the biggest labels like Spinnin, Defected, Monstercat, Anjuna. They play Ultra, Tomorrowland. Last year, we had 4 students playing EDC. So we're going to break down this war into 4 different categories, 4 different battles. The first one, and this is an absolute battle, this is the battle of overthinking. You overthink your music, you overthink your content, you overthink that email to the label. And it's totally normal, and there's a great way to fix it. By the way, this battle, this is not just for up-and-comers or beginners. I've seen this from the biggest artists in the world. But prior to starting Cosmic Academy, I had my concert company, Cosmic Opera. I did sold-out shows that were wildly successful. I was in Billboard and Rolling Stone. And I worked with the biggest artists in the world. Zed, Swedish House Mafia, Pharrell, and even the top artists, they fight the battle as well. Let's look at the science. Like I said, everyone deals with this, and a 2010 study proves that. Harvard did a study that showed that 47% of our thoughts are overthinking. That about half of what we're thinking about has nothing to do with the task at hand or what we're trying to accomplish, but just utter nonsense of overthinking it. So what is that telling us? If we're overthinking about half the time, it's going to prevent our ability to act and thus prevent you from getting to where you want to go. You're not going to finish the song or do the content or send that track to the label if you're overthinking it. So what's the solution? How do we stop the overthinking? There's a few techniques my students love when it comes to overthinking, and they really help. So the first one is called time boxing. This is based on a study out of Penn State in 1998. Essentially, you allow yourself to overthink, but you use a timer. Give yourself, let's say, 15 minutes. You write down all the overthinking that you're going through. And then once that 15-minute timer goes off, you close the box. You tell yourself, okay, I got it all out, no more overthinking. Now, if you couple that technique with the next technique, it's even more powerful. The next technique is the 5-5-5 technique from the University of Illinois in 2001. You simply ask yourself, will this matter in 5 minutes, 5 days, 5 years? If not, act on it or let it go. Again, if you can close that box, you can then move on with your day. Finally, there's the brain dump technique that was studied at Baylor University in 2018. This is when you write down any of the overthinking that you have right before bed. You write it all down, and most of the times my students find that when they wake up that next day and they look at the list, they don't care about those things anymore. They realize that a lot of the stuff they were overthinking doesn't even matter the next day. And then they become better and better at processing it. And the brain dump becomes less and less. Your brain is this wonderful organism that can literally change over time with practice. It's called neuroplasticity. I've literally watched students of mine go from not being able to finish a record in 6 months to being able to finish an EP in 6 days. Let's talk about the next battle that is closely associated to the overthinking, and that's perfectionism. Do me a favor, smash that like button if you've dealt with overthinking or perfectionism. You might even be overthinking, like, how should I smash the like button? Should I smash it really hard? Should I smash it very soft? Like, we're gonna overthink that too. I think you should smash it pretty hard. So overthinking and perfectionism, they go hand in hand. And then you put it on top of the fact that we're talking about music here, oh, that makes it even harder. Even though we both know deep down the perfect song doesn't exist. Actually, I'm wrong. I didn't mean that. The perfect song does exist. It's Avicii levels. You know it, I know it, perfect song. Okay, but how do we help our perfectionism? Ready for more science, more scientific studies? Let me get my lab coat on. Let's first start and see how big of a problem this is. In 2019, the University of York in the UK, they did a meta-analysis of all the studies and data regarding perfectionism. They found that there's an 86% correlation between perfectionism and burnout. That's absolutely mind-boggling. 86% of the people with perfectionism were also suffering from burnout. I can't tell you how many students that come to me saying those words, I'm so burnt out. Well, maybe the cause of that is the perfectionism. Okay, so how do we fix that? We've used a bunch of science-backed techniques here. I'll give you some of my favorites. By the way, if you're listening to me yap about like my students and the school and the people we work with, maybe you're a little confused. Yes, this is a YouTube channel and we make these videos, but we are a school first. The YouTube is just us, putting out for free the things that we've learned and the techniques that have helped our students. But yes, we have a premium program. It's an artist development program with a lifetime hybrid community. We work with artists in a personalized system. You literally have it like a team of people with you on all areas of your career. The music, the brand, all this mental stuff. And the results we've had have been so outstanding that our program is sold out months in advance. There's literally a wait list to join this program. However, we're always looking for great applicants. So if you're interested in applying to become a student, I'll leave a link below in the comments. But here's some techniques for perfectionism that we used in our school with great results. The first one is something you've probably heard. Let's discuss it, how it's backed by science. The University of California did a study that showed a 27% decrease in perfectionism in just 4 weeks. That's pretty substantial. So what was it? Simple. It was journaling with reframing. Here's how it works. When you're being a perfectionist about something, write it down and reframe. That's literally it. You actually just write something down, something like, oh, if I don't do this perfectly, I'm gonna fail. That's what you're probably thinking. But then you reframe it and you write down, actually, doing my best is enough to learn and grow. You then continue to practice that. And like we're talking about before, your mind will start to change, the neuroplasticity. Another technique that we found to be really crucial in this is graded exposure to imperfection. What the fuck is that, right? The University of London did a study where participants had to show their imperfect work to their peers. And when they got finished, they realized something. Oh, that wasn't so bad. And my peers were even kind of nice about it. I feel better. Over time, the anxieties of those students dropped by 25%. This is what we call feedback in our program. We have students go to feedbacks multiple times a week. Sure, it helps you get good responses on how to learn how to fix up your music, but it also helps desensitize you to your own perfectionism and your own criticism. Our belief is that the solution to perfectionism is feedback. We stand by it. And if you're not currently getting feedback, go find some peers, ask them for feedback on your music, even if it's imperfect, and it will help you. The next battle in the war for our minds is the battle, the fear of rejection, and the negative thinking. Those two go hand in hand. It's constantly in front of us with our music. Your music could get rejected by the labels, it could get rejected by the fans, by the playlisters, by the venues. There's just so much rejection in music. Now let's see what the science has to say. First of all, rejection sucks. Now I don't like when people just brush off like, oh, you just gotta get rejected, it's whatever. No, it really does suck. I know, I've been rejected 1,000 times in this business, it sucks. The University of Michigan looked at brain scans in 2003, and they saw people's brain activity light up in a way that was similar to physical pain when they were being rejected. Like, think about that. The statistic is crazy. 88% of the participants, they looked at their brains and they saw the same activity light up when they were being rejected as would if they were getting physically harmed. That's a real thing and it sucks. Okay, so what do we do with this fear of rejection and the negative thoughts we have associated with it? Before I mentioned reframing in terms of the journal, but there's a really great way to do this in terms of rejection. If you don't know what reframing is, and I mentioned it a bunch, it's when you tell yourself that rejection sucks, but you reframe it and you say, yeah, but I can learn from it. And then in an interesting way, it kind of comes true. If you reframe something as positive, like, oh, I got rejected, that means I learned. That means I'm one step closer. That also comes true. And there's really interesting science to back this up. The University of Texas found a 31% decrease in anxiety revolving rejection with people that just simply reframed it in their minds. Even more interesting to me is the Stanford exercise study. Stanford took a group of people that worked in a hotel. And they said to them, hey, we're going to divide you up into 2 groups. And one of the groups, they had them do their regular work, but they told them very positive things about their work. They said, oh, the work that you're doing, believe it or not, it's actually shown to be beneficial. And it's exercise, and it's going to help you with this and that. The other group of people, they actually told them negative things about their work. Oh, it's so hard, isn't it? This is really, really tough work, and it's really difficult. Both groups did the same work. What was wildly interesting is that the group that they told the positive reframing to, the results were insane. In just 4 weeks, that positive group lost weight, they had better moods, and their blood pressure decreased, all because they reframed the task at hand. And I know that this video isn't about like the ins and outs of Spotify or like how to perfectly mix a record, but what I'm telling you is that a lot of your success is based on these mental battles, and the evidence backs up how important that is. My wish is that you try 1, 2, just some of these things that we discussed, because I know you're going to see a benefit. However, if you do want some of the more nerdy tactical stuff in the music making process, I'll have the algorithm put up the best possible video for you next, and we'll see you in there.